Ladies and gentlemen, factory lovers, welcome back to Factory Town. That's right, my name of course is Open Potato, and in today's episode, I'm very much hoping that we're going to make as much progress as we did in the first one. That is to say, a heck of a lot of progress. I'm very happy with how our lovely little mega town is coming together. Obviously, it's not very mega at this moment in time, but you know, we're working on it, we're getting there. We got a base upgrade ready to go. It's gonna cost us 50 red coins, 10 bits of cloth, and 20 stone bricks, so let's immediately knock that out. House max increased by 4, new building unlocked kitchen, new building unlocked gourmet foods, and metallurgy as well as a research subject. In fact, speaking of research, we got a couple of different things that we can indeed research. We could unlock woodworking, which will unlock a barn, a crate, forestry, boat building, fluid pipes, an animal pasture. That's perhaps something that we are interested in. Intermediate logistics, not over the moon about that. And then, of course, metallurgy as well. I tell you what, let's start with woodworking. It's the most basic, I guess, of all of the researches that we can indeed work on. Also, I think we should probably think about getting ourselves a kitchen, because I would imagine that a kitchen will hopefully be able to increase the value of our flour. Indeed, yes, it is able to do that. Okay, so if we're able to get this kitchen set up to bake bread, then we input 2 flour, we input fuel, which we can get from... Oh, wow, that was quick. Thank you, video game. We input fuel, which we can get from fertilizer, wood, coal, or magma. 4 seconds later, boom, out pops a bit of bread. So, you know what? Let's leave this right over here. Get that set up like so. The flour can be supplied actually really easily by just doing something like that. And there's a grabber there as well for good measure. That's excellent. Okay, and then now we just need to see if we can try and find a little bit of coal. I mean, how much coal will we actually need? I doubt we'll need that much coal, because a coal will provide 4 fuel. Yeah, so let's give that a shot. Let's see if we can leave 1 worker doing that coal. See if that is enough. It may very well not be. We may need to get more than 1 worker, but I'm gonna assume that we will be fine. Yeah, we're totally going to be fine. Okay, this wagon can now do delivery of bread across to the food market. We're going to need a fair amount of bread, to be honest. We're going to need a fair amount of bread. So let's crack up the number of workers that are working in this kitchen. We'll crank it right up to 5 so that we can output bread as fast as we possibly can. Is it worth me just straight up creating a path across here? You know what? It straight up might be. But even if I was to do that, I think I want to use that. I want to do the stone road, so that speeds up the speed at which wagons move, which is cool. And in fact, we might even be making too much bread for our own good. We'll have to see. We may be able to justify introducing another wagon here. But anyway, that's kind of by the by. That's going to give us a huge amount of yellow coins. Red coins, we don't really have a super sustainable way of acquiring red coins. At the moment, we're just selling planks. Seems a little bit lame, to be honest. So we're probably going to change that around a little bit. Fluid pipe, yeah, we can talk a little bit about fluid pipes a bit later on. Animal pasture, let's get an animal pasture, because we need fertilizer for a couple of different aspects of the game, and so we might as well set that up preemptively. So that is good. We need a little bit more flour coming out from the grain mill now, which is still proving to be... I mean, look, don't get me wrong. The farm is doing a brilliant job of harvesting all of this grain, but unfortunately, it's just not enough. It's not being used by the grain mill. Yeah, we've got plenty of grain, but we've got absolutely nowhere near enough to satisfy the demands of the kitchen. Actually, tell a complete lie. It looks like we're not going to be able to grow the grain fast enough over here. That's fine. That's kind of okay. All right, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a couple of amendments, right? So we're going to change this up. A smidgeroony. Then we're going to go into the build menu, and we're going to look in the... Yeah, we're going to look in the build menu here, because there's a couple of things that I'm looking to get set up. Right, so firstly, a barn. A barn is basically like a big old chest. And if we get a barn right over there, then we should be able to store a whole bunch of grain in this barn. So it's kind of worthwhile. Setting up a barn over here. It doesn't need to just be grain, but I think this is going to be our grain barn, if you'd like. So that's that for now as well. Right, the grain mill is actually going to get a little bit moved around, so to speak. What am I looking for? I'm looking for another grain mill, please, video game. Thank you very much. And in fact, dare I say, do I even want to get 2 grain mills? I think I want to get 2 grain mills. Let's go. Let's absolutely go. No workers assigned. Have we run out of workers? We've actually run out of workers. No matter. We've got 4 workers who are just sitting around doing absolutely diddly squat over there. So we can use this as an opportunity to assign a worker to here. Okay, so that's going to be the grain mill situation there, which I like a lot, actually. That looks really, really decent. We need to make sure that this is all grand. Ooh, that's a pear tree there. I didn't even realize that was a pear tree. Pasture. Cool. Pasture is over there. That's all set up. We can get a proper pasture set up at some point in the future, because we do need fertilizer. Something that you'll note, and I chatted a little bit about it in the last episode, is that we need to supply. Well, we don't need to supply. It's good to supply fertilizers to farms to speed up the rate of growth on whatever you're growing on that said farm. But what we do actually need fertilizer for is, where is it? Yeah, is for a farm tile. So it would be really, really great if we could get a couple of farm tiles around so that we can expand the amount of grain that this farm can harvest. So that would be high on my list of priorities to get set up pretty darn soon. Right. So without further ado, let me see if we can try and. Okay, that worked miserably. That worked really, frankly, very, very miserably. Okay, sure. Do that over there. Excellent. That's exactly what I'm after. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. No, I'd rather not go down a level, please. Rather just come across like so. Except that obviously didn't work out the way that I intended it to. There we go. Excellent. You want to work now, video game? I think that should be fine. All right. Excellent. Brilliant. Okay, so that is going to be our supply of grain to all of the different grain mills. And from there, are we going to be able to get away with just a singular belt? We might be able to get away with just a singular belt, although in hindsight, I actually think that a single belt may not be enough. Let me reduce the number of workers in that grain mill there. Right. Okay, cool. The coal deposit is still doing a whole bunch of heavy lifting, giving us more than enough fuel, I do indeed believe, to output all of this bread. Happiness, obviously, we want to try and keep that as high as we possibly can. Fertilizer, I just chatted about fertilizer, so let's see if we can get that on the go as soon as we possibly can, because that is super, super, super duper imperative. Yeah, farm tiles are very, very important. Okay, what do we need for pasture? We need stone, so we need 30 stone, and we do not have 30 stone at this moment in time. Somewhat surprising, to be honest. Right, place down a worker. Just set up some stone delivery. We've already got one worker on it, so we can get another one. This is looking very, very nice indeed. Looks like a single belt supplying all of the flour to the kitchen is fine. It looks like the wagon is managing to handle all of the bread that's being output as well. That may not be the case forever, but for now it seems under control, which is excellent. Very, very happy about that. The barn is obviously dividing up all of the grain that comes in into three separate chutes and sending that onto the grain mill. So very, very happy about that. I should also note we are looking perhaps to increase the number of houses that we've got. I think think we probably want to... I think we probably just want to make some additional houses over here. We maybe create a secondary street. Yeah, I mean, look. Maybe, just maybe, I could pack these houses a little bit closer together. It seems like a little bit of a waste of space to not have them as tightly packed in. Oh, I was going to say, by the way, just at the start of the episode, thank you very much to everyone who left a comment on the last one. You know, the game has changed a whole bunch since the last time that I played it, so all of the comments that I do receive, greatly appreciated, because they help me understand exactly how much the game has changed. So apparently now there is a new requirement that houses also need to be connected to a road in order to be able to make purchases from either a general store, a food market, or any other type of resource selling building. So that's what we're going to be looking to do. We're going to be looking to make sure that all of the houses are connected to roads. Chances are I would have connected them up to roads anyway, just because it's pretty darn good to have that in place, have that infrastructure in place. But in saying that, I'll now make sure that it absolutely happens. Okay, that is the correct number of houses. Let's get these houses just upgraded to level 2 houses. I don't think we need to go above level 2 at this moment in time. Everything is level 2 here, which is excellent. And that is going to allow all of the houses to buy resources from the general store. We're nowhere near providing, 100% happiness to everyone. However, that's a 20% production bonus, basically for free, which is just the way I like it. Excellent. Free production bonus really feels good. It really just feels excellent. Right, I'm going to grab myself a pasture. Now, what about a pasture right over here? I think a pasture right over there would be excellent, because this pasture is literally only going to supply us fertilizer. Fertilizer needs animal feed and water. Animal feed is created at a, what'd you call it? This place, a grain mill. So we need to get a grain mill on the go over here as well, which is a little bit of an irritation if you ask me, but that's fine. Right, animal feed, it takes 2 grain in 2 seconds. Okay. Right, so what are the chances that we can just utilize this barn over here? I would like to stress, by the way, that this is a very, very temporary solution. It's not going to be the case. It's not going to be the case for a long time, but we just need to make sure that all of our grain is going exactly where we want to go at this moment in time. Cool, so let's do something like that. Let's get this to come down over here. You really don't understand. You don't understand corners, do you? Video game? No, you don't. Right, because that's what I wanted. That's what I feel like I should have got, but that's fine. Okay, let's create animal feed, and then let's literally just do something like that. Very, very simple sort of setup there. We're also going to need, I believe, a well, so we can get a well set up over here. However, we need 25 stone in order to grab ourselves a well, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, we ain't got 25 stone. Okay, so this actually shows the power of buffering, right? So if we get a crate right over here, what we can actually do is we can actually get the workers to deliver the stone to the crates. You can also deliver stone to the crates, my dude. And then from there, we can get it set up so a wagon will collect all of the stone from the crates and take it back to the base for use in whatever construction we desire. So that's kind of nice. We got plenty of stone bricks, and I tell you what, let's see if we can try and upgrade this road, because workers do not really need to walk down this sort of central promenade at this moment in time. We can always change things around if we need to. We can always strip this stone road out and stick in some regular old dirt track, but I'm not particularly interested in doing that, so not a huge concern there. Right. Are we able to grab the animal feed out of here? We are indeed. There is animal feed in the pasture. We are ready to rock and roll in the pasture, with the exception of getting a well up and running. Let's do that. There we go. Excellent. Bada bim, bada boom. We got ourselves animal feed. Brilliant. Okay, so a worker can just literally transport that animal feed. not the animal feed, what am I talking about? Fertilizer back to the base. Is a singular worker enough to do all of that transportation? Truthfully, I don't think so. I think we need to crank it on up to a wagon. I mean, look, we've got the resources. We might as well do that. Okay. Can I... Yeah, I'll put a stone road out there so the wagon doesn't have to go all the way around, because that would be a little bit ridiculous. There we go. Excellent, and the speed increase is huge. It actually is really, really ginormous. That is a technical term. For anyone queries, it absolutely is a technical term. Right, what's our population looking like? It's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad, not at all. The amount of bread that we're getting, that is very, very nice. Look at our yellow coins. We have an obscene amount of yellow coins. Red coins, as I've already highlighted, still remain, you know, a little bit unstable in their provision. Anyway, let's get fluid pipes up and running. Fluid pipes is like another layer to the game. Another layer of complexity, one which I'm actually looking forward to exploring. Right, so the general store. What can we sell at the general store that we particularly want to sell? A reinforced plank. Honestly, reinforced planks seem like a good idea. Shirts as well. I mean, we are making cloth, if I'm not mistaken. What about an item of clothing? I feel like a couple of items of clothing might not be the craziest thing in the world. So we're currently manufacturing cloth and cloth conveyor belts in this workshop here. What do we need in order to take us up to a warm coat? We don't actually even need cloth. We do need cloth for the shirt. I tell you what, that might not be the worst thing that we could possibly do. The reinforced plank, we need nails, which we need metallurgy, I believe, for. Iron plate, yeah, we definitely need metallurgy before we're going to be able to forge iron. I mean, that's fine, though. That's not necessarily a problem. I think what we'll do is we'll actually set up a couple of additional workshops over here. This is what I kind of want to make sure that I do going forward. You know, we need to make sure that we have sort of isolated production systems. So, right here, we're going to make some cloth from cotton. Excellent. Right here, we're going to make some shirts from cloth. And right here, we are going to make some warm coats from shirts. And then we're just gonna, you know, have a nice little even system between, going between them. I think that that's sort of the best way that we can go about doing this, you know. So I don't want to be dipping into the piggy bank, so to speak, of cloth that we've built up over here, because, you know, making sure that we get cloth conveyor belts is really, really imperative. It really, really is. And we've got enough production difficulties with that at this moment in time. You know, I think we probably need a whole bunch of additional wood wheels. I dare say we need a lot more wood wheels than we're actually getting. The lumber mill isn't looking particularly good. In fact, look at this area. We have completely decimated this area. In fact, do we have a forestry building? Do we have a forestry building? Because if not, then we need to seriously look at getting that set up as quickly as we possibly can. Yeah, we need to do some forestry research. We need to do it like pretty much yesterday. There we go. Okay, we can actually do them both at the same time. That's totally fine. Fluid pipe is going to unlock first, I would imagine. And then forestry will unlock slightly after that. Either way, we need to start reforesting this area, because the length of time that it takes my workers to wander out to the forest and knock down a tree is far too substantial. We need to make sure that that's brought down. Right, so cloth, that's looking good. Shirts, we can't make shirts because for some obscene reason, I haven't got a grabber here. Don't know why. Either way, that's going to allow the transport between workshop number 1 and workshop number 2, and then between workshop number 2 and then workshop number 3. Excellent. Right. So, let's do that. So we'll set up 2 workers to manually take cotton between the cotton field and the workshop over there. We also need to make sure that we get leather. Now, leather can be acquired in a pasture, I do indeed believe. Yeah, this is it. This is leather. So, what does it take for us to get leather? Honestly, just 4 animal feed and a couple of yellow coins. Is that necessarily... Is that so bad? I mean... Do I want to just go for it? Do I want to just go for it there? I mean, truthfully, maybe. We can also upgrade the pasture, by the way, to just give us, you know, production bonus increases. But then again, the problem really is grain and grain supply. I tell you what, before we look at getting leather, why don't we see if we can properly kit out this farm? Because this seems like a top-notch priority. Right, let me go into farming. Okay, brilliant. Fluid pipe connector, and fluid pipe. Excellent. Thank you very much for that video game. Much appreciated. Right. Let's go into farming. Let's get some farm tiles out here. Okay, we're going to get as many farm tiles as we possibly can. How much fertilizer do I actually have? I have 24 fertilizer. Fine. So let's just spend all of our fertilizer. Brilliant. And then we're going to see if we can plant grain on these fields. Now, we don't need to plant grain each and every time, but we do need to plant it once. And then I believe that will tell the video game that this is what we're going to do, and this is what's going to be over here. So farm tiles, I think, should like rapidly accelerate the growth of the grain, and therefore we should have way fewer grain supply issues. I mean, this belt, or this chute, should I say, should be chock-a-block. Should be chock-a-block with grain. We should never have any grain issues. We might need to tweak this a little bit. We may need to get ourselves another farm. You know, that may well be something that we need to do. We also may want to supply this farm with fertilizer. And truthfully, that is something that I kind of do want to do. But then again, in order to make fertilizer, you know, we have to go through this whole process of grain into animal feed into the pasture to create fertilizer, and then we'd have to move it all the way back up here. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, and it would certainly help. But I think, honestly, with just water, we should be totally fine. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is a lot of grain right here. This is a lot of grain. It's not quite enough, but it's not far off. It's not far off at all. Yeah, it's looking good. Right, let's crank up the number of workers there. I want to make sure that we have got full output. In fact, I want it to be so darn full that I think it's worth us getting an additional chute coming out, because now that we've got these grabbers, I think when we initially set up this chute, we didn't have yield grabber, but now we absolutely do. Right, I'm just going to remove these resources over here, as it's not imperative that I have these trees around forever. So let's clean this up just a smidgeroony. There we go, looking very, very nice indeed. Excellent. Okay, that looks not too shabby, actually. That looks not too shabby at all. Wonderful. There we go, and just a little bit of a tidy up, just to make sure that everything works properly. Video game. Excellent. Okay, so that should be two full belts of grain, which of course it will not be until I fix it up properly. Excellent. And then even after that, I need to make sure that we get a grabber right over here. Brilliant. Because it only works with a grabber if it's hooked up to not the primary exit. So the primary building exit is the only way that you can get resources out of the building unless you have a grabber. So that's fine. That looks very, very good. And again, that really is what we want to that really is what we want to see. We really want to see as much grain as we can possibly get coming out of here. Right. Again, let's get some more farm tiles. Excellent. We're out of fertilizer once again, but that is no problem whatsoever. Grain. So what does it cost us? It costs us 10 coins in order to plant grain. We only need to do this once, but just something to consider, you know. I believe we only have to do it once anyway. Can't plant grain on a wild tile. Needs to be a farm tile. Either way, the amount of water that we've got coming into the farm, I think should be enough. We'll have to see. Either way, I mean, this is two This is 2 full outputs. This is 2 full outputs of grain. This is quite a substantial amount of grain. And in fact, the grain mills are yeah, they're all backed up. I mean, that's good. That's actually good. That is actually legitimately good, because it means that all of the grain is going to feed production, and that feed production is going directly into the pasture. And that pasture is turning directly is turning the feed directly into fertilizer, which is absolutely excellent, and I'm very, very happy about that. Right. In the meantime, how are we doing? How are we doing over here? Well, we only got about halfway. We only got about halfway through this entire process. How do I feel about this grain mill becoming a permanent grain mill? To be honest, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it at all. This is a very, very poor place. This is a very, very poor place for a grain mill to be. I tell you what, the reason that it's a poor place, by the way, is because it's still within range of the food market and the general store, and we're going to need all of this space if we want to create a truly massive town. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to actually move. I say we're going to move. We're going to move a brand new grain mill out here. We're going to create a brand new grain mill out here. And this is going to be a grain mill that supplies animal feed, and in fact, we're actually going to supply it from a brand new farm. I think the farm could probably do with being up here. We want to make sure that we give ourselves plenty of space, you know? Yeah. We want to make sure that we give ourselves plenty of space. I'm not bothered about wood. Wood is super, super duper easy to find. Grain as well. Grain we can just ditch. Anyway, let's get a farm. Let's get a regular old farm set up right over here. Again, this just goes back to the whole idea of I want to make sure that I'm keeping as many sort of different production processes separate as I possibly can. Right, so grain, supply water. We don't need to supply fertilizer, not yet anyway. As I say, it's a little bit more complex to set up a fertilizer supply, but you know, we don't need to concern ourselves with that for a while. This herb is not needed. We need to remove the resource. So we're only going to worry about grain for now. Yeah. And that's going to come down there. And I tell you what, you know what we could really benefit from? We could really benefit from having a barn right over here. I think having a barn sort of, you know, just halfway through the process of anything really is frankly a good idea. It's a safe bet, you know. If you're able to buffer production, then that's excellent. What am I looking for? I'm looking for chutes, but unfortunately, we ain't got the planks. Wowzers, we've gone through a heck of a lot of planks recently, and I didn't truthfully even notice. I tell you what the issue is. I'll tell you exactly what the issue is. We've got nowhere near enough wood coming into the lumber mill, because all of the workers have to walk for miles in order to acquire the wood. That is a big old problem. Dare I say, that might be the biggest problem that we've faced thus far. Right. Let's do this, that, and that. Right. You guys. You do that there. You do that there. You're doing that there. Fine. You can do to there as well. And you are also going to do to the end over here. Okay, so that should speed things up theoretically just a little bit. It's obviously not ideal. I'm not happy about it. We need to get a forester set up and operating as soon as we possibly can. But that is going to be, whatever it is, 20 research points away. We need a little bit more paper in order to make it all work. Paper, of course, to be turned into the writing supplies, which is used to research. Cool. Okay. So, it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but it's working. Right. Should have at least one plank there. Excellent. So, we're going to make some, you know, farm tiles or whatever around here, but, you know, at least there's a little bit of grain going for now, so that's fine. We can at least start stockpiling a little bit of grain. Right. So, this grain mill right over here is going to be used to produce animal feed, as I've already chatted about. We can bring it straight out of this area here, and we can bring it down just like that. Again, once we get the planks. Wow, I cannot believe how prohibitive having or not having planks is. It's, wow, that's real bad. That is real flipping bad. This is going to continue to exist, this pasture, you know, just as a short-term supply of fertilizer. I'm going to even crank up the number of people that are working in the pasture. I mean, what the heck? There's no reason not to, right? If we can get a little bit more fertilizer out of there, then that would be excellent. In the meantime, whilst we're waiting to acquire a couple of additional planks, we can busy ourselves with the construction of a couple of farm tiles over here. We've actually got plenty of fertilizer now, so we might even be able to completely carpet this area. Yeah, that would be excellent. Nice. To be honest, that will probably be enough farm tiles, I would imagine. I suspect that will be enough farm tiles. But it may not be. Usually any given farm can only output from, you know, a couple of farm tiles, especially if we're supplying fertilizer to that farm. Oftentimes the grain will just grow too fast to be harvested. Even at this rate, the grain grows super duper fast. You can see the grow progress up in the top right hand corner. It's obscenely fast. So we're gonna be, you know, we're gonna be dealing with a whole darn field of grain in just a second. So very soon we are gonna be seeing, two full belts of output if we can throw in a couple of additional workers. Yeah, which we can't, by the way, because we are at our capacity. Right. Ah, yes, we have yet to link up that over there. Cool, let's do that. Also, our barn is almost full, which is something that I didn't really anticipate, but that's fine. Right, let's go into buildings. Let me see if I can get a pasture. Is a pasture what I'm after? Yeah, pasture's exactly what I'm after. Let's put the pasture... I kind of want to put the pasture over here, but I don't really like the height. I don't really like the height of this pasture. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of terrain modification here. I'm not super happy with spending my red coins because that's what it costs in order to modify terrain. But I think it's just worthwhile doing this just to make sure that we're working with a level playing field here. Yeah, let's not spend all my level coins, all my red coins. Okay, I just spent all the red coins. Don't even concern yourself about it. Don't even concern yourself with it, potato. It's fine. It's completely a-okay. Right. Now that embarrassing event has taken place, let's see if we can get one of these. Excellent. All right, we don't have any workers because we're at our production capacity limit, or our worker limit, should I say, which is still deeply irritating. Right, when are we done with forestry? Man, we are very close to forestry. Very close to forestry, which is excellent because it needs to be done, like, literally, figuratively, yesterday. Can I sell stone bricks? Is it better for me to sell stone bricks? I think it might be better for me to sell stone bricks at the... general store here. So let's do that. Let's do that, and then let's... I can't even get another worker, can I? No. I can get one of these workers to be reassigned. We'll get you reassigned to transporting logs between the lumber mill and the base, because that's where we need the planks, to be honest. We need the planks. We don't really need as much stone brick as we've got. Also, look at this. This is great. This is fantastic. And this is with just, you know, however many farming tiles. Not altogether too many. I think we can maybe reduce the number of workers that we have working at this farm. Yeah, okay, so we've taken 2 workers out of there. Excellent. That'll be totally fine. Ooh, new building unlocked, forester. Okay, that is imperative. That is absolutely imperative that we get that up and running as soon as we possibly can. Right, so, why did that not work? There we go. Okay, that's a step in the right direction. We are going to be creating fertilizer. This is our consistent supply of fertilizer. This is where it's going to come from, because this is This is an unreliable situation. Unreliable setup, and it's not going to be around forever. Right, let's get this forester set up like yesterday. It's very, very important. Okay, 20 stone and 20 planks. Excellent. So, this works much like a farm, I believe. So what we do is we do... Where do I want to stick it? We'll stick it down there, and so that will automatically harvest the trees in this vicinity, which is excellent if we set it to harvest wood. However, what we can also do is we can also plant down, tree planters, so we can actually regrow these trees once we get a little bit of iron. You are just determined not to. Determined to not work for me. There we go. That works a little bit better. Cool. All right. So it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's still going to draw down on our supply of trees, but it's at least going to give us a little bit more of a consistent supply of planks, which is excellent. Right. Okay. Back to clothing, which I know it's been a while since I actually addressed this, but that's fine. We need leather. We're going to need another pasture in order to get leather. So let's get another pasture set up like yesterday as well. I don't know why that's become a thing, but it apparently has. Pasture. Let's get leather. Excellent. Let's remove these resources over here. Trees are not a super high concern for me right now. Excellent. That looks good. A little bit of a funky hill to climb there, but that's okay. Don't even worry about it. What do we need? We need 20 planks in order to make this journey happen. Yeah, again, this just sort of goes to show exactly why I want to increase the number of planks that I'm getting. Why are you not working? I think it's because I've got workers putting onto the belts. Or perhaps not. Either way, this forester should be more effective than it actually is. There we go. Okay, that's looking a lot better. It's looking a lot better. We'll get the forester to supply consistent wood to this area over here. You do there. 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 Excellent. Okay, so as long as all of these lumber mills are getting the wood that they need, then I'm sure we will be just fine. Right. With the forester over here, maybe if we can crank up the numbers a little bit. Oh, I don't have any additional population. That's fine. That's totally fine. But yeah, if we crank up the additional population or the additional workers in this forester, then that would give us a little bit more of a consistent supply. But that's fine. Okay, so that takes us back up to 24 planks, which thankfully is enough. Excellent. Let's get that in place like so. We still need to get a couple of wells in a couple of different places, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do that real quick. Right over there. And we need planks again. My goodness gracious me. Okay, well, at least we can start making fertilizer. That's a step in the right direction. This barn is full, by the way, so that's something. Definitely something that we'll need to consider. Also, this farm will need more employees at some point. It will need more workers. It's definitely going to happen. Yep, planks. We need some additional planks to get a brand new well. And the well, I mean, we could utilize this same well to supply, to supply water to this pasture too. But I kind of like having a dedicated well at each and every farm building that we have. It just sort of makes a little bit more sense to me anyway. Okay, metallurgy. Metallurgy is next because goodness gracious me, we need more wood, we need more planters, so we can try and get that set up. All right, we got 100 research points to get through, so that's going to take a pretty significantly long period of time in comparison to all of the other bits of research that we've done thus far, and that's not a problem. That is not a problem at all. Right, can I have a little look-see? How's everyone's happiness doing? I mean, everyone's happiness is actually, it's fine. It's fine. We need more general store products. Like, that is what we need. We need to get that sorted. And to be honest, there are a couple of different ways that I can go about sorting this. I mean, we could just get, for example, we could just get a farm which does, you know, pears and tomatoes and all of that. And that, to be honest, might be worth us doing. So if I get a farm over here, just as a, you know, set up on a base level, all of the fruits that can be eaten raw. So like tomatoes can be eaten raw, I believe. So the food market, yeah, the food market can receive tomatoes, potatoes, pears, carrots, apples, all of this sort of stuff. We should try and get these foods grown at this farm so that we can just, you know, immediately ship them into the food market. If we're able to ship them into the food market just like so, then that'll you know, make everyone just a little bit happier, which is excellent. And it's a lot easier to supply, you know, all of these, you know, basically grown fruit and vegetables than it is to supply bread. Although in saying that, we should really be transporting a little bit more bread than we currently are. Yeah, so that's a bit of a pain in the backside. Right, you know what? Maybe that vegetable farm is gonna be dealt with later. Because you know what they say about eating your vegetables? It's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Dangerous to eat vegetables. Super dangerous to eat vegetables. Right. What am I doing with this? Why am I putting fertilizer here? I don't need fertilizer. This is not the right belt, Potato. What are you doing? I've completely screwed the pooch on this one. What a horrible saying, eh? What a horrible turn of phrase. Right. What I meant to do was get something like this. Excellent. Something like that is exactly what we need, because we do not need fertilizer over here. We literally just need animal feed. That's exactly what we're after. We need animal feed to give leather and fertilizer. So we'll actually get fertilizer as the output there, which is pretty darn important. Now, do we have a logic block which sorts the output? No, we do not. Okay, I think what we need to do is we need to put an item filter on this, and the item filter needs to only output leather. Yeah, so we're only going to output leather onto this belt because we do not want any fertilizer, like just slipped through there. We want to make sure that we don't have any fertilizer slip onto this belt. Otherwise, we're gonna be having continual supply issues. Anyway, that's looking not too bad. That is looking not too bad at all. Why are we not able to supply? That's wool. Potato, you total dingus. Okay, we actually need wool instead of cotton. I have no idea why I thought that cotton was the appropriate utensil for this job, but that's totally fine. Right, you know what? Leather and wool can be manufactured at this farm right over here. Unfortunately, though, I don't believe that I can put more than one resource on this belt, not unless I got an additional grabber next to it. So you know what? I'm just going to set up a secondary belt. It's actually not going to be as much of a pain in the backside as it initially seems. So we'll do that over there. And then we'll get ourselves a grabber. Right, but not fertilizer. Not fertilizer. Literally only wool. Okay. So, of course, a bit of fertilizer, as is tradition, manages to escape. That's totally fine. Okay, these two workers who I had, you know, dealing with the cotton, that is my bad. I shouldn't have done that. The good news is, I do actually need one of them. The good news is that we are now able to output coats, or warm coats, whatever the heck they are. We can output them. Just store them at the base for now. That's fine. Leather, ditch the leather. We don't care about leather in this area. Yeah, cool. So we should be able to output a huge number of warm coats. And these warm coats, even though I say huge number is a slight exaggeration. Even though we're not going to be able to output like a significant number, that should guarantee our red coin supply for a little while at least. So that's excellent. Right, then this vehicle, which is currently transporting stone to the general store, I believe. So it's transporting stone to the general store at this moment in time, which is fine. Right. I now would like you to transport the coats instead. Brilliant. Why do people buy their warm coats from the general store? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. To be honest, your guess is as good as mine. Also, I think I'm just gonna move these 2 stores over here like so. That may sort of mess with the vibe a little bit, but I'm looking to see if I can try and, you know, speed up the speed of the wagons that are commuting to the general store and indeed the food market. So if we do that, that might make a sizable difference, or in fact, it might make no difference at all. You can never have too much road. And look, if we need to ditch the road in the future, then we just ditch the road in the future. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Right. So the general store is hopefully going to supply a whole bunch of warm coats to a whole bunch of houses. Either that, or it'll only supply to houses that are level 5. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. I really should have checked that before I started building the warm coats. It doesn't particularly matter, though. It doesn't particularly matter. It doesn't particularly matter in the grand scheme of things at all. I mean, what do we need to get our houses upgraded to level... I mean, all that we need in order to get it upgraded to level 5 is some of these reinforced planks. I mean, that's not that difficult to do. Once we've done metallurgy, we'll actually be there. So you know what? We're going to be able to stockpile a significant number of warm coats, which is lovely. It's very, very nice. It's not, you know, short-term useful. It is long-term useful, though. So, you know, let's revert back to stone there. What a disaster, right? What a flippin' disaster. What a flippin' disaster. I will say, though, this is totally fine. One concern that I do have is that we've got a significant backlog of fertilizer, which is not exactly ideal. We do need to find somewhere to stockpile fertilizer. This barn, perhaps, would be a good place. You know, I'm just gonna ditch this stone. Ditch this stone. It's not imperative that we have it here. We'll get ourselves a lovely barn right over there. Excellent. The very nicest of barns. Right, and then we'll get a cloth conveyor belt right across there, which is apparently impossible because we don't have cloth conveyor belts. What happened to our cloth production? Yeah. Okay, so that's still a wood problem. A wood problem at its heart. Yeah. That is a concern. That is a concern to me. We do seem to be having pretty significant issues with wood supply. Right, we'll crank up the number of workers in the forest there, which is totally fine. See if that makes any difference. I doubt it'll make a substantial difference, but you never know. It may allow us to just get a couple of additional wagon wheels, which can then be properly used to create cloth conveyor belt. I honestly thought we had more cloth conveyor belt than that, but apparently I was wrong. We've only got 8. We only had 6 when I last checked, which is pretty flippin' miserable if you ask me. Also, why the heck are we storing water? We should not be storing water in the base. That's just daft. It's just totally daft. We could also look to get a couple of the other houses upgraded. There seems to me no reason not to. So I tell you what, let's just progress to housing level 3. We've also got plenty of cloth, which makes housing level 4, you know, completely attainable. We've got more than enough yellow coins to do all of the coin upgrades. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that only like super advanced houses, i.e., level 5 houses, are able to buy, you know, super nice coats or whatever. But that's fine with me, you know. Let's just continue. Let's just get level 4 and everything. We need 5 cloth on here. Okay, so we're actually out of cloth, but that's the vast majority of our houses upgraded to level 4, which I hope should be grand. I mean, what can we do? Requires house level 5. Requires house level 5. I mean, 4. Yeah, I mean, I think this is good. I think that we can definitely, there's definitely a lot of stuff that we can supply. So, you know, we can We can supply all of these different houses with all of these different resources. And in fact, that is what we want to do. Leather maybe is something that we can supply directly. That's an idea. For now, can I just go back to my idea of getting a cloth conveyor belt, please? Get a cloth conveyor belt and let's output the fertilizer. Yeah, we only want to output fertilizer here. Fertilizer can become a little bit of a bottleneck. And so we have to remain very, very vigilant about fertilizer. Excellent. Because it can really escalate. You can really get away from you. Right, one more bit of conveyor belt, please. Come on, video game. There you go. There's the one bit of conveyor belt. Okay, so after we get this bit of conveyor belt built, we should have no issues with producing leather and wool in plentiful quantities in order to deal with that. We've also got a massive maximum population now, which is pretty darned excellent, and we can in fact. Acquire some upgrades to the pasture, which may very well happen. The workshop, yep, is looking grand. The ratio isn't perfect, I don't believe, but it's fine enough for now. Why are you? What? I don't want to build a lumber mill here. I never wanted to build a lumber mill here. This was never what I wanted to do. I wanted to build a barn. That's my B. Video game. That is my B. We can also get some upgrades to the barn if indeed we want to increase the amount of storage there. But that's fine. I mean, look at this. We've got plenty of people to work now, which is excellent. Right. So cloth. Are we okay for cloth? Are we even transporting the cloth back to the base? I don't think we are, you know. I do not think we are. Okay, so if we do that, that will at least make some inroads into increasing the number of bits of cloth that we have, so that we can hopefully pursue a couple of additional upgrades. Not like it's really a priority, but it is definitely something that we want to do. Okay, I mean this is excellent. This is absolutely excellent. It looks like the amount of bread that we're supplying is actually enough. It looks like, from what I can see, we're fine in terms of bread. We need to get some eggs as well. Eggs is another thing that we can supply. That's actually relatively easy to make in the pasture, so that's something to consider. Fish and cooked fish. I think that's also pretty easy if I can recall, because we've got a couple of fish spots over here, fish patches. And we can indeed just, fish them out and stick them in a kitchen, cook them up, and send them to the food market. That's entirely possible. Either way, I'm kind of a little bit miffed that my warm coat strategy to make a whole bunch of red coins, I'm kind of miffed that didn't end up panning out. Although, it's not really wasted effort, because we've got this whole infrastructure over here, which I'm actually quite excited about. This needs to be increased. We need to get as many bits of grain coming out of here as we possibly can into the barn, and then into the grain mill. So that's cool. Fertilizer over here. We've actually got a plentiful amount of fertilizer, if I can recall. Yeah, look at this amount of fertilizer. That's ridiculous. A ridiculous amount of fertilizer, and also, effectively unlimited fertilizer coming into this barn over here, which is pretty darn nice. No, I'm very, 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 very happy about that. Right. I tell you what we'll do. Let's get ourselves that farm that I was chatting about a little bit earlier, just to sort of deal with all of the raw resources. Berries. What else do we need? I mean, pears. Can we grow pears? I think we need to grow pears at the forester, honestly. As crazy as that sounds. Yeah, apples and pears. That's kind of ludicrous, but that's okay. Are there any other resources that we can see around that we can get at that farm? I don't think so. I think we've just about got every single... I think we've got about every single berry type resource over here. Excellent. Okay, let's grab a couple of farm tiles. We can use up a huge amount of fertilizer. Right, and then over here too. Brilliant. Very, very happy with that. All right. So upon the conclusion of that, we grab ourselves a well. Like so. Brilliant. And then we will grab ourselves farm tiles and stick a couple of farm tiles in over there. Excellent. Right, so I would like berries. I would like 2 rows of berries. Brilliant. What else? What else do I care about? Carrots. We'll get 2 rows of carrots. 2 and a bit rows of carrots. That's fine. Potatoes, of course, the very best. The very best of vegetables. Potato counts as a vegetable. Don't even worry about it. Tomatoes as well. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, so after we get the tomatoes, I think that is absolutely everything that we need. Cool. All right, so these are all going to grow, like, pretty obscenely fast, I imagine. And so after that, what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a cloth conveyor belt, which I suspect might not actually be enough to carry all of the resources that we need to carry. Do potatoes roll? I feel like I really should know the answer to that question. And yet I do not. Okay. Well, what we want to do long term is get a cloth conveyor belt, or perhaps a fast cloth conveyor belt, because we can get upgraded cloth conveyor belts at some point in the future. We want to get those cloth conveyor belts like running right up into the food market, or perhaps a more sustainable transport solution. So I think we can get like mine carts and stuff as well. Yeah, we can. In fact, we can get caravans, mine carts, steam locomotives. We can get all of that sort of stuff, and that might be the way that we transport resources directly to the food market. But for now, I think what we'll do is we will just, we'll leave a barn right over there, and we will just transport the resources directly to the food market, and this should just help increase our maximum happiness, which is kind of what I'm after. I really want to make sure that we're making as many houses as we possibly can, as happy as we possibly can. And we should just be able to hopefully deliver absolutely everything. We may need to get an additional wagon or something. Yeah, look at that. That's three levels of happiness over here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so presumably we're supplying both the bread demand and also the basic food demand as well, which is very, very cool. Bread is obviously bringing us in a huge chunk of change, so it's very, 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 very good that we keep that coming. But in saying that, we could supply, just basic grain or flour indeed to satisfy that demand. I guess it depends on whether we're optimizing for happiness or for money. I feel like I need to go like right down the middle and make sure that we're optimizing for money, but at the same time we're optimizing for happiness too. There we go. Excellent. Right, double this road up. Triple this road up. Yeah, honestly, we could look to get like a one-way system or something in place here. But for now, I'm not gonna really worry about that. Either way, that just gives us a huge amount of extra happiness. Look at that. Look at that. A 40% production bonus. We've actually coasted above 40 happiness for the first time here. That's very, very good indeed. Very, very good indeed. And I guess just shows the power of happiness. Look at that, 4 happiness. What the heck is going on here? Oh, look. So apparently, berries count as a non-basic foodstuff, which is cool. Very, very cool indeed. Well, I say it counts as a basic foodstuff. It is a basic foodstuff, but it's not in the same category as the potatoes, the carrots, the tomatoes, etc. So berries might be something that we look to grow a few more of over here. Although in saying that, we got plenty of berries. Let me just crank up the number of workers that we have over here. Yeah, I think that's probably a good shout. We want to make sure that the belt is consistently full with produce. Man, that looks good. That looks great. That looks absolutely exceptional. That looks really, really, really good. It does sort of highlight a little bit of a problem that we're going to have. You know, this farm is outputting a huge variety of different types of resource. How are we going to ensure that the resources are delivered evenly? It looks like at the moment the building is outputting 1 tomato, 1 potato, 1 carrot, and 1 berry in turn, in sequence, which is great. You know what? I think that's a pretty darn good place to wrap this episode up. I'm really, really happy with how this town is looking. Truth be told, we can very, very briefly get the remainder of the level 3 houses upgraded to level 4. And so just like that, we got a pretty advanced, pretty developed town. We've got the level 5 upgrade to go, obviously, in order to make sure that we're going to be able to sell all of our warm coats. Gosh darn me. But you know, apart from that, we're fine. We've got 48 warm coats ready to rock and roll as soon as we're set up with that. We've established a brand new area. This is going to be, you know, I hope our pasture quarter, but we'll have to wait and see. Thanks as ever to the fantastic Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/potato. Also thanks to Banana Nana and C Senpai for being the two $25+ plus tier patrons. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye.